now the most reasonable talk show host from Sopchoppy to the Redneck Riviera, here is Bob Kerrigan.
And good evening and welcome to Within Reason. Bob Kerrigan with you, gone last week. Thank you for your calls. Is there any doubt that if George W. Bush had the power, he would not shut down all dissent, including newspapers, immediately? Of course, in this country, that's illegal, at least unconstitutional, because what's unconstitutional and illegal is sort of been obscured by President Bush. It's not really clear what he thinks is illegal or what he thinks is unconstitutional, because by his actions, he's deemed the right to do whatever he wants to do, all in the name of fighting terror. And so the Republicans have created, artfully, the impression that we're at war with an enemy that we don't know anything about. We can't articulate who they are. We can't articulate where they are. And we can't articulate why it is we are actually fighting them, other than referring to the 9/11 attack on this country. You know, the word Al-Qaeda, I'm almost positive about this, was never mentioned in the news before 9/11. Never. This grand enemy with this massive scheme to destroy the United States. What's really happened in this country, sadly, what's happened in this country is Al-Qaeda is winning, because Al-Qaeda, according to the president, doesn't like our freedoms. Well, consequently, because of Al-Qaeda's actions, our freedoms are being eroded as we speak, all under these grand, misleading, actually mutually exclusive names with the content of the legislation, saying things like the Patriot Act. You know, what's patriotic about taking away individual liberty in the name of some grand government that's going to look out for everybody? We know this for a fact. The government cannot prevent any single act of terrorism. In case any of you are wondering if you can receive one of these free stickers, if you'll look at the sticker, it says Bush McCain. Maybe we can get a shot over here. Bush McCain, 100 years. Bush McCain, 100 years. If you'd like to have this centennial sticker on your car and for your children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren, I don't know how long it'll last, but you're surely welcome to it. If you'll contact me, I will give you one of these personally designed by me, bumper sticker, at no cost to you at all. Okay, did everybody see Addington and you? Oh, they're really cute, aren't they? Testifying before Congress. That Addington is a pompous, you know what, he is. And you is dangerous. He's smart and he's dangerous. He's the one that drafted the memo that said you basically can do whatever you want in the name of national security, and that includes any kind of torture that you think will work. Why in this country have we gotten all wanged out about waterboarding as a method of torture? We're going to outlaw waterboarding. We're going to specifically put it in there. You can't do any more waterboarding. We're going to end this waterboarding. Now, if that doesn't shift the focus from what ought to be discussed, and here's what ought to be discussed. You know, when they asked Addington, well, did you go down there and did you see people interrogated? He said yes, but he just saw them for a few minutes. Now, if you went and you were there to approve a method of torture, wouldn't you say, I want to see it. I want to see what happens to a human being. I want to understand it. They have these one-way glasses. He was down there at Guantanamo 5 or 6 times. Never actually saw it. Didn't want to soil his Republican hands with this. This is something we leave to our interrogators, in some cases to our contractors, to do the torturing for us. The issue is, what have they done? We know this, and I've said this before in this program to the great credit of the FBI, they objected to it and refused to participate in it. We need to know, as a country, what did you do now to the average redneck? Well, by golly, it saved this country from being invaded. Well, you can't ever prove that one way or the other. You can't ever establish that any information they got prevented anything from ever happening. But on a more fundamental question, it's ineffective. By the best interrogators in our country, historically, it has been established to be ineffective. So what do the Republicans say? One of the Republican congressmen who was toting the Republican water during the hearings, talking about, well, you know, the Democrats, they want to cozy up to the terrorists and be their best friends and have coffee with them and befriend them and try to work them up and try to get some information from them. You know, well, us tough guys, us Republicans, hey, we torture people because we're tough. We're from, you know, a lot of us from Texas and stuff. We don't put up with that. We know what we're doing. And basically to hell with our conventions and our treaties and our laws, because they think they're smarter than everybody else. So you should have been there then. You should have been there when we're all worried about getting another attack. That's what you should have been doing. Well, Condoleezza Rice shouldn't have been out buying shoes when 9/11 happened. There's a lot of things that shouldn't have happened. You know, tons of things that shouldn't have happened before 9/11. Including the complete disinterest in all of this by the Bush administration, the poo-pooing of the whole threat from the beginning. It is an international embarrassment. You don't see any Bush-Cheney stickers anymore. And if you do, the people can't read or write. I mean, it's like nobody in their right mind could be supportive of this administration. They say that the interrogation methods, in their opinion, did not constitute torture because nobody can actually define torture. According to you, it's not torture unless you die. According to you, if you don't die, it's not torture. I don't know how exactly he came up with that, but that was his definition of it. But isn't that clever? It's just a real cute way to avoid the real issue. And they are pretty good at it. Well, the interrogation techniques that were used were very effective in safeguarding and protecting the people of the United States, which the Republican Party holds at the highest level of their concern. Unlike the liberal, wacko, weak-kneed Democrats that are afraid of their own shadow and want to give up everything to Al-Qaeda and want the country to go to hell. Unlike them, you know, the techniques, the interrogation techniques, do not, in our view, constitute a legal definition of torture, and it was very effective. So what they're saying is, hey, the ends justify the means. We've not permitted that in this country in the past, although that would be a really fitting platform for the new Republican Party. The ends justify the means. Like it or leave it and get out of the country. That'd be much better for them. It'd be a much more straight up thing. And this, we don't like gays. We don't like any minorities. We don't like people on welfare. And, well, we got a few other people we don't like. Okay? That's our platform. We're white businessmen. We want all the cash, and we don't want any bid contracts, and we want to stuff our pockets with money, and we want all the tax burden to be shifted to the middle class and to others. And we don't want to pay anything. That's our Republican Party, and we're proud of it, and we hope you'll vote for us. And for those of you who are interested, don't forget our Bush stickers, Bush McCain 100 Years. This program is rebroadcast Monday night at 10 and Friday night at 10. Until then, this is Bob Kerrigan thanking you for watching Within Reason, and we'll see you next week.